Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, the Python Gurukul. Today we'll be talking about functions in Python and we'll try to cover arguments, return, lambda function, recursion, and what else. So we have a lot to talk. So let's start diving in. And we'll start with the definition of the function. So whenever we require some set of a statement to be called or used again and again, or call those set of a statement with different values. In those cases, it is very much required to have a function, call them again and again. It will help us to simplify our program and it will help to troubleshoot. Uh, we can see the same thing in this graphical representation. In this graphical representation, we are having some set of statements, we have inputs, and then at the end we are returning outputs. This could be kind of series, so like one function, we are returning something, the return is getting passed to the another function, and so on. But the basic of the thing is, there are some statement which will be need to call again and again, then we try to define a function and call them as a function. It could be two kind. One is the built-in, another is user-defined. Built-in, we have already looked at it, like print list, which is already defined in the Python. We have to just go ahead and use. And also we'll be learning about the user defined. So user defined, the one which we will be defining as per our purpose, as per our requirement, as per our program or class requirement. We will define the inputs, we will define the statements, and we will define what to return. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of the example. In this particular example, we are using the def keyword to define a new function. We have given the name new function as a greet user. It is user defined. We can give any name. And then inside the function, we have comments and then one statement just to simplify this function. So this particular part is defining the function. And then to use the function, we have to just call the name of the function. So let's take a quick look on this function. And the same function is defined here. We'll go to the command prompt and from there we will try to run this program. So, so what we did, we call the grid.py and it has only one statement. Welcome to OneView 5.0. It's very simple. We have some good example even further. We'll be going back to them. So as we talked about, these functions required input, required arguments, because many times we want to change the value to operate on, or statements should be using the different value at different time or different place. So inputs will be calling as arguments, and we have a various different kind of arguments. We'll start with the positional arguments. It is very simple. We have to just start writing the variable name inside the bracket and use those variable name while writing the statements. So we can see that we have defined the same function, the one we used last time. Now we have added two arguments. So one is product, another is version. And what we are doing, we are using this name as a variable name inside the statements and using them. So now we can see that we are calling the greet user, but while calling we need to pass the arguments, pass the values. We are giving product name as a one view and the version is 5.0. Another function we are calling one view, but look, we have changed the version. So in this particular program, we don't have to make any changes. As we change the arguments, as we change the value, the function will act accordingly. So let's take a quick look of this example, and I will bring this file. Let's go here and copy this line of code and go back to the notepad. We'll select everything, we'll paste. Just to edit, to avoid the copy paste issue. And um, another VT, just let me check it out. And okay, and few lines here. So now we can see that the function have been modified. We are calling with one view 5.0, one view 5.10. So same function being called two time. One time it will say version is 5, another time it will say version is 5.10. I'm going to save the program, go back to the command prompt and call the same program. So it has some syntax error. So mostly it is something to do with the codes. We'll go back to the program and there is one more. So let me fix this one too. And I think we are done. Okay, so now we see that our program is being called in one view is the product name, version is 5.0. Next time we exchange the version, so it is saying 5.10. That's very meaningful. Let's proceed further. So last one we talked about positional argument. We had to remember the position of the variables. So while defining and while calling, but it becomes sometime cumbersome because if we have too many, we have to remember the order, and while calling, maybe we'll miss the order, then we'll completely mess up the program. So to avoid that issue, we have another option is keyword arguments. We can specify the keywords. Using the keywords, we can pass the value. So in this one, again, same program, but this time while calling the program, we are saying product is one view and version is 5.0. So now we have luxury to change the order. In the second one, we are calling version 5.0 and then product. But look at this particular one, where we are calling the function, but we have not used the keyword. We just passed the as a positional argument, and in that case the first one is tied to the first variable, that is the product, but we wanted the version. The second one is the name, but it is tied to the version. That's how if we use the keyword, it becomes more simplistic to use uh, while calling the program. Going further, so several times, maybe well in advance, we want to set some default value. Like if while calling, we are not passing the arguments, we are not passing the values. In that case, we want to use the default value of the variable. So in this example, it's very much similar to the last one. We are saying product, but product equal to default value one view, version default value 500. In this example, we try to use greet user without passing any value, any argument, any parameter. So it will take the default value like product one view version 500. Second one, we are saying okay, let's pass the version 510, but we have not passed the product. In that case, one view will be used as a default product value, but the version we are rewriting, so it will be 5.10. This program looks interesting. We'll try to run this program. So let's go back and copy this program and going back to the notepad. So here, let me take this one out. And now we got the greet user, same. We are just going to write the Awesome. So let's fix this one. Single quotation for product for the version, and then remove this particular symbol. And here also separate side we try to rewrite the double quotes because double quotes was having issue while copying from the PPT. So now we are going to call this program with value as a 5.00 and the name as one view, and the second one without anything. Third one we can call with one default value. Let's see what is going to happen. Looks like program has been updated. We'll go ahead to command prompt and call the same. So three times we have called the grid user. First time 501 view. This is your blender. So what has happened? These are the keyword, but what I did, I just send the positional argument. I'm just saying whatever is first, assign 500, whatever is second, assign the version. We wanted this 500 to go to the version, but as we have not used the keyword, this is what will happen. The second one is the real example for the default one. In this, we are not passing any values, no parameters. In that case, the one we have already defined while defining the function will be used. So that's the one view 5.0. This is the default value we had. The next one, we are only rewriting the version. We don't want to change the product name, only we want to change the version. So version we are saying 5.10, and that's what is being written. That's wonderful. Let's move further. So in the same line, many time is required to pass more than one argument, but maybe we don't know well in advance. So for that purposes, we can use the arbitrary arguments. It provides the facility while defining the function that we are not sure about how many values, how many data we'll have. So we are just using the star and the variable name. It is saying we are free to use as many value or variable we want to add here. So while calling the function, we are providing product one view, version 500, but look at this, I3 is the new variable, Gen10 the new one. So this way we have the new arguments. Next to that is keyword arguments. What will happen if we required multiple or maybe we are not sure one or more keyword arguments? Then in that case we can use the double asterisk and then the variable name. This gives us the flexibility to call or to add, while calling to add multiple keyword key and value pair arguments. So product we already had, version we already had. Now we have added another key deployment with the value I3 is snap with the value gen10 snap 6. So that's very good. And we want to take a look at this example. So let's move ahead and we will try to call this keyword arguments. Copying the program and go back to the one notepad. Control A, Control V, and again it's kind of very similar to the previous one. And here we have some logic, so we are going to use I'm just making sure that our code looks right. So we are just printing a message on if condition, and if it is not true, we are going to print another message, and then we are going to call the function. So again, while calling, we are going to call one view and then version, and then another variable which we have just added, another keyword and the value, another keyword, and another values. So what we are doing, if we have this variable, if not, then we'll be calling this particular section. Otherwise, we'll be calling the else part. Let's see, save the program, go back to command line, and then call the program. So let's see, indentation. So it's look like one extra space we have got, maybe one more here, one more here. Save the program, go back to okay, and now we have maybe a spelling mistake, KWARGS, KWARGS. So not args. Okay, so this one is complaining about KW. Okay, let's save the program, go back to the code, and so now we see that we have called the function welcome to one view deployment. So we got the one view from the product, we got 500 from version, and then we are completely printing the arguments. So we are saying deployment, i3, snap, whatever keywords and argument we pass, we just printing that. So that's the beauty of the keyword arguments on the go. We can have as many keyword paired, key and value paired argument as many we want. Okay, and the most important part. So once we are done with the function, once we are done with the job, what we want to return to the caller, that is being returned with the help of the return keyword. So everything as it is, but at the end, every program does not produce the output only. It returns the data, it returns some values, and those will be returned with the help of return keyword. So by just adding the return and whatever we want to return, we are handing the things back to the caller. So whoever is calling this program or function will getting back this result. Okay, and now we'll be learning about very important tiny lambda or anonymous function. It has some set of rules, but whenever we need a function on the go, we don't want to define, we don't want to store, we don't want to manage, we just want to use on the go. So for those purposes, we'll be using the lambda. It has some certain rules. This function can have any number of arguments but only one expression. One is free to use lambda function wherever function objects are required. These are syntactically restricted to a single expression. Remember, we can have multiple inputs but only single expression. So let's take a look. So this is one ordinary way of defining the function. We are defining the function q, passing the argument n, calculating factorial or maybe cube. I should have updated this one, and then returning. We are calling the function print, passing the function name with the value. The same function can be defined in one line. Only condition was that it should have only one expression. So we are defining cube, We are saying it is a lambda, then it has one input parameter n, and what we are doing, n multiplied by n multiplied by n. It's n of cube of n. Another function we can write very similar way. This one also the lambda function. It takes two parameter a and b, and we are returning a plus b. So we can see that at any cost it should be one argument. Sorry, one expression. It can have one or more inputs. So let's take a look at one of these, and we'll try to run this program. And let's go back here. Okay, and now we are going to copy this particular cube. Control C. Go back to the Notepad++, and Control A. Remove everything. I'm going to copy. So let me simplify this one for now. So we can define the cube. We can define the. We don't want this one, and we just want to print messages one for cube and one for sum. So for cube we can pass 10, for sum we are going to pass 10, 20. Save the program and go ahead, call the program. Okay, so what we did, we call the cube, which is kind of lambda function, takes one input parameter, that is the 10, and it does the cube return. Very straightforward. Another one, again we are calling one lambda function. It takes two argument a and b. It returns the sum, and that's what we are seeing here. Okay, going back to another example. So that was the simplest way of defining and using. But in this slide, I want to highlight that what are the real life use. I've taken the example of two functions. One is the map, another is the filter. The map function takes two inputs. One is it will take one function itself and then some set of parameter. This function will be run on these iterable items. It could be list tuple etc, and it returns the map object. So as we see that it takes the input as a function, we can define the function while calling the map, and that's what we are doing here. So for this example, we are taking one odd. This is iterable. This is the list. It has 1 3 5 7 9. Now we are running. We are calling the map function. It takes function, so we have to write the function lambda. It takes one argument and return x plus 1, and we are passing one iterable. What it will do, it will convert the input to the event, and this event is the map iterable. Now we have to convert the iterable to the list and then print. Similarly, another function which is filter, it also takes two input. One is a function and another is a sum list. What it does, this function will run on this function is a kind of satisfying some condition. It will run on this particular data and then it will return the result. Again, whatever result it is returning, we are converting to the list and printing. So these are two straightforward examples which we can showcase that why or where or how, which kind of places we'll be using the lambda. Moving on, recursion. Recursion is another powerful tool we'll be using at several places, mostly around the tree or around dealing with the data structure. It simplifies the program. It has two it has two things. One is the base, like from where to start, and then at the end, at what condition we'll be exiting from the recursion. Until the condition met, we'll be keep calling the function itself. So we are calculating the factorial, and what we are doing, we are keep calling the function n, and then call the function with n minus 1. Again, it will go back, it will check the condition. If condition does not meet, it will be back and keep calling the function, and so on the recursion will be going. And at the end, just think about the situation where we have multiple functions, like we are developing the calculator, then we have several functions. In those functions, we want to use the one which we want. So what we did, we have created one module, and module will be the Python file. In this Python file, we have defined definition of sum, definition of subtraction, and we have another main. In that main, we are calling this module. From this module, we are calling this particular function and just using that. So we are just hiding everything behind this module. And this program main.py looks very straight and what it is supposed to do. So it is supposed to do some sum, but sum has been defined inside the calculator, and the calculator is the module. So this is how in the future we'll be defining our own library, our own modules, and this is one example. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy these two programs quickly and showcase that how we are defining. So let's copy this set of program, go back to the notepad, and here again we'll do the same exercise. We have defined, okay, result equal to first plus second, and then this is what we learned in our previous example. As we are done with the calculation, we'll be calling the return and we'll be returning the result. Okay, again we are doing cleaning the another function, and for that also we'll do the cleanup. Okay, and here we are doing the subtraction, so we are going to subtract second number from the first, and then once we have the result in our hand, we'll return the result to the calling function. And we are going to save this program. While saving, we'll give the name calculator.py, and notepad knows how to define the Python file. So from here I'll choose the file type as a Python. So go ahead and select the Python. Save the program. And we have to define another program that will be main.py. Going back, creating the another file. Now this one. Control C. Control A. Oh, okay. Just forget it. I'll write this one. So from CLC import sum, and then call the print. While printing, call the sum, pass the 11 and 22. Okay, save the program. While saving, I'm going to call this one main.py. Just select a type, as Python. Okay. And while running this program, I'll call the Python main.py. And now we can see the result. So it is one of the very straightforward example, but this is the way we can build. And once again, thank you all for watching. And if you like my video, please share and subscribe. Thank you. Thanks for watching.